Y'all ready to begin?
Good.
All right. We want to call to order our Cleburne County Emergency Communications District meeting. Want to welcome everyone. Welcome, Mark. Laura Cobb.
Here.
Emmett Owen. Emmett's not present. Terry Hendricks. Here. Roger Hill.
Here.
We do have a quorum. No comments from citizens. No officials or board members. New business.
I'll make a motion to approve minutes.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Reports from staff.
Okay, so I gave you a March report, and you can see our call volume has definitely increased. Spring and summer were always super busy. We had a super big day today. We coordinated the install of a new generator on Turkey Heaven after 2 years. So we are so excited. So we had Mr. Terry Holtze up on the mountain, Robinson Gas, the county engineer department, who else? Mr. Steve Dempsey went up, and they all coordinated their times, their schedule, and got it done. And it's completed, installed, and set up to test. So, and then the county engineer's office brought the old generator, and it's downstairs. So we are thrilled to have that finally done. And so that was big. Today we worked on that, and also we had some visitors to the center this morning. We had the Cleburne County High School and Ranburne High School health tech class come up, and they toured the center, and so we hosted them today and kind of explained kind of what we do. That's always fun to have, a group of kids in. There's about 30 of them. So they came here, visited, and they went to Medic Base. So anyways, that was our day today, but as you can see, our activities, just the same old every day, every month activities. Tonight we're kicking off National Telecommunicator Week, so we're having a training session tonight. It starts at 5 for us. So that is this week for the telecommunicators. It's just a week, of course, that we recognize them and thank them for the job that they do. So we've got something special planned for them each day. So we'll be doing that this week. Told you about the visit, and the last thing that I have was we did get the grant award for $46,750 for the state 911 grant that I applied for. Now this money is earmarked only for salary and benefits. It cannot be used for anything else. So I'm coming tonight to ask if I can use it. We applied for this grant with them. It was based on financial need, and so we explained to them that that's the biggest area that we have financial hardship in, is really keeping employees and having enough funds to have enough to staff. So I don't know if we can vote or whatever tonight, but I'm asking if you will go ahead and allow me to hire the 9th full-time position since it's already funded. We only have a fiscal year to do it, but I came a couple of months ago and asked, and it was just going to be a trade out for some of the temp slots for the full-time slot. So my recommendation is we have an turnover, that it really, even if we didn't have the 9 full-time folks on duty, if we lost one, I hate to say we more than likely will, but I feel like between now and the new budget year, we will have at least one turnover. We usually do, about every 6 months we have someone leave. And so again, I didn't sign the grant documents because that's the main thing. If I can hire the full-time position or not. I have to show the state board that I did use that for salary and benefits. And also they wanted some information, some commission meeting minutes on what our plans are to increase, how to keep folks and things like that. So that'll be coming in the future. Like I said, we have to submit the commission meeting minutes to the state board to show them that we are in fact working on that. So I'll be working on that. I've spoken with Emily Brown, we sat down and kind of talked about a few things, the step raise program, things like that, that I haven't presented yet, but it's coming. So that will meet the qualifications. I said that to say that will meet the qualifications of what the state board needs for us to have the grant money.
This is a one-time deal or is it?
It is one time deal, yes.
So it's not, you know, if you put somebody there, it doesn't mean that they can fund people.
That's correct.
Fund it.
And that's why I was saying, we have enough turnover, we have one leave and we backfill. So we have enough funds, we always do in our salary and benefit to keep us going through the new year. And even if we did go with this, we can write the resolution as such that we keep it until the new fiscal year, up until that point. So in other words, we're not keeping it forever, we're just keeping it until we can have it approved in the new budget year. Does that make sense?
Just a one-time deal, but
Yes.
you're gonna approve it with the next year, but
I'm
what's
gonna
gonna
try,
do with it?
yes, I'm gonna try to get it approved in next year's budget. And like I said, we have enough turnover rate on our salary and benefits, so we'll have one leave, but it takes a month or two to get those full-time benefits going, so we have that gap, so we always have that extra going. So I don't think there'll be an issue with us going over budget, even if we did have 9 full-time, because that would take the slots of the temporary and the part-time folks, so it kind of washes itself out.
We're basically just eliminating some of the part-time,
Yeah.
full-time.
But there is always a possibility that they will extend that, the state will extend that, but of course, we can never, depend on that. They just wanted, they had some extra funds. The engine project has wrapped up, of course, we got all our new equipment, all of the things that we needed, and they felt like they had this money sitting there. So they proposed it to the districts that had the greatest financial need. And so hopefully, maybe that'll keep it together.
To compensate for that difference,
Right.
where we base hours on our population, around our one-time.
Yes. And that has really hurt us.
And this is not the meeting to discuss this, but, next month, I'm running a step raise.
Okay.
And Emily and I have been talking, and we'll have it
Yeah.
all figured out, but, next month pays off the cherry.
She and I have sat and talked about the proposal that, is it Condrey? So it's the proposal that Condrey had for the STEP program. And of course, I told her, I've been working with her, we're gonna propose, of course, the same thing. I mean, it's the same exact thing.
19 steps.
I think it's 18 steps.
That's what you've been talking about.
For us, it's like 22 cents, 23 cents. The higher, the training position was like 27 cents, so.
What I had talked to her about, I said, this might not be where we need to discuss this, but we didn't know, was like one step for each year, whatever. And I was thinking she told me that it averaged about 43 cents.
Well, it just depends on how much you make. The higher position, of course, a little more, yeah.
Yeah,
Pay
but
is.
I think she told me the average. Since we're losing, that's $18,000 a month, we can afford it.
Yeah.
If the commission wants to do it.
We, I discussed with her in depth about, I know several years ago, we talked about the catch-up program and, all of that, and I told her that it was my opinion that we should just go into the new fiscal year and start just from this point forward, that we could never catch people. I didn't think. That's just, of course, my opinion as a department head.
Is legislation making any change toward 911 across the state? I know they were looking at trying to combine a lot of the 911 centers.
There was talk about it. I haven't heard further on it. We could never have enough staff, and that's the problem that you come upon, is that we were approached by another county to take on their dispatching. And, how much would you charge us? What's your call volume? the thing is, we're capable of that with our equipment, but we're not capable with the staff. And that's what everybody's running into. You cannot get enough staff to cover. Because when your call volume increases, when you take on a whole other agency, of course, it increases dramatically. And I feel like that's probably the main thing is why.
One states were looking at it to do that and implement some of the calls into one.
Well, I think that it's not been successful because of that.
Because I know that, that we're talking about it.
Now, the consolidation, they are pushing consolidation within the counties, and of course, we're fully consolidated. We're a centralized dispatch, and we're one of the few that are. But they are pushing for at least counties to consolidate into one. But yes, I hadn't heard that there was a lot of talk for a couple of months, and then it kind of just died out.
I don't read any more about it either.
There's a lot of people fighting it. I was in a meeting, probably 6 years ago, with Sonny and a bunch of EMA, 911 people, and academic. Sonny says, we didn't see anything, you got a question? I said, well, we'll consolidate. There's a lady about to come over the table on me. She was calling me everything you could think of. And I was like,
But it's because, they're used to their territory, they don't want to share it, they're not looking at what's the best, what's the best across the state.
money-wise, it's probably a good thing.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of our setup, is that we actually were ahead of the game. We were one of the first few that did consolidate with the county agencies, and that's why, of course, I will always push for that, because we don't have a lot of funding, and it just makes sense. But the next grant cycle will hit probably in June, and I'm hoping maybe they'll add the financial hardship to some of the grant funds that I can apply for again. But I will definitely be going for an upgraded generator for Oak Grove and probably the Combo building next on the next grant cycle. So I'll be applying for that. And like I said, it usually falls in June with state board. So just kind of FYI on that. That's my next plan. And one more thing, I got our date for, or roundabout date for a new radio install. He said it should be mid-May, so we're excited about that.
How big is that generator you got downstairs?
7
Would it be beneficial if you took that one to one of your other stations and just left
Well-
it there for a backup, or you'd be better off leaving it here for a backup?
Well, here we don't need it. We have the huge.
Well, what I meant was, if you needed somewhere you could load it up and carry it,
Right.
or would you be better off just stationing it at one of those other two places?
We recently, this past grant cycle, we got the funds for a backup center. So we haven't even started on that. I actually need to get busy on that. So it was our intention to take the generator to where the new backup center was because of power. We need to ensure. We had previously discussed the backup being at Heflin Fire, and we would have to look at their generator and ensure that it was large enough to hold everything. So I was going to kind of hold off on any ideas further than that right now, just to make sure wherever we set our backup center is, we would have a generator. And then we could, go from there to where the location we chose to be.
You're not having a lot of problems with the other generators right now.
And that's the thing about the one on Turkey Cabin, and Mr. Dempsey said, if it's still in working order, but you just have to manually start it. So it would need to be in a location that somebody could easily go out and manually start it. So,
Maybe cover the other ones.
so it took them, Terry come up last week, and he had to also get Alabama Power on the mountain, so it was a big ordeal. It took them about 6 hours to get it swapped over, so. I think that's all I
So it's
have.
all working?
Yes, it's all working. Terry dropped the keys back off about 2 o'clock. Said that Mr. Dempsey had called and said he had the generator portion, he had tested it and ran it and set it up for, we do every Wednesday morning to run a test. So. But just, keep in mind on the grant funds, if we're gonna use those grant funds, it would be ideal to really use those and not wait around on it. Because like I said, they may be used before October, the new fiscal year, so.
Alright, any other questions? County attorney is not present, no business, old business, discussion items,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
all in favor saying aye. Mr. Hill, you'll say the prayer tonight for us. Call to order, I want to welcome everybody. Let's pledge allegiance to the flag. Salute, pledge, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let us pray. Thank you, Father, for all your blessings, Father. We ask you to give us wisdom this evening and help us to make good decisions for our county. We ask you, Father, to bless our county, our state, and our country. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, we had no comments from citizens. No one asked to speak as far as I heard. Comments from officials or boards or members. Sheriff, you got anything?
Got that that maybe they talked about on the topic. That was good. Kind of make it right and wrote it down.
Stand.
We also have three vehicles. I think there's about a week and a half left on the auction. There's three that we're auctioning off. That should be coming back to the 550 line. Right now the bid's around 35. I won't say 35, 30 is what the bids are. Sort of surprising, but yeah. So there's like 8 days left, so maybe that'll go up a little more. That'll, we're hoping that'll help some compensate on the bus part. And, like I said, they offered like $40,000, $59, and then we got a counter offer in, hoping that at least meet us halfway. I don't know, that 40,000 is barely enough to replace the vehicle.
That's for all equipment too?
No, that's just for the
We're
way
gonna
it gets.
take the equipment out.
Yeah, we're gonna have to take, we're gonna take some equipment out, and we're hoping to save around, maybe a little less than 4,000. I hope that we can salvage some of it.
Is this the 23?
The
Is
Explorer.
it total?
Yeah,
I've spoken to Alan Carter about that today too. He said that if we will, it's the way it's insured is cash value. And they try to get you something, the way he put it, he said they talk about it this way all the time, and it's like kind quality. They try to get you the same, something that's that quality replacement.
yeah,
So basically with a vehicle like that, they try to replace it from.
what it worked.
Yeah, so just about get something that needs, they try to, and he said if you get that added on to your policy, if you will tell them the amount that you're upfitting, because certainly that makes the vehicle
Right.
worth a lot more than what it was when you purchased it, that will be part of it.
That looks like
But what's that cost of the increasing that insurance?
I haven't asked them what the difference is, but I mean, if we're talking about the difference in, value being $12,000 or $13,000 on a vehicle, I wouldn't think that it would be
this
crazy
minimum,
rates.
I'm talking about this bare minimum, about $12,000 of it.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
if you are looking at that amount and how much, property insurance is on it, that's not gonna be like a crazy amount of money, it's not. And I know you're talking about it on all the vehicles that are updated like that, but I can certainly, Alan asked me to call him and see, and we'll sit down and talk about it.
So we're looking at adding as much in as used when they're 3 or 4 years old as we bought the new one for.
What's the cost of a new one?
Well, what kind
Just the same kind.
it's gonna be around 40,000. But I mean, you can't get them till next year now.
The problem is not being able to get them.
Yeah. You have to get on that deal list. They put it out a year prior.
The restaurant has offered to come down here.
Now, well, I say they come down like $500. That's all they come down.
And now they got you.
Yeah. Yeah, matter of fact, we talked to them, we thought we was looking at another one, we got numbers crossed ourselves, and then after talking to him, it was the same one. But I said, he come down like, it was like $500 or something like that, it wasn't a whole lot.
You're deal directly with Grant, huh?
Me,
Oh,
yeah. I don't even know if Matt's around there much anymore, every time we deal with something like that, we always go through me, and that's who it does to talk to, so.
So insurance money is probably not even gonna pay all the cost of this, right? Used.
Not the upfit now, but like she was talking about, well, they replace just the vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's it. Like I said, we're still, just shy of $12,727. But we're ground be the upfit price. Also, we put a counter offer in too, so we ain't heard back from them.
So if that counter offer gets taken, it's gonna break even. Pretty close to it.
I hope, yeah. And then, like I said, that other than 3 vehicles, I hope that price goes up, so that'll help a little bit too.
It's 4 years old. So the difference in that and the new one, I mean, I know ain't nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, I mean, a new Tahoe was 52,000. The last one we bought was 38,
Yeah,
so 52 now.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Y'all probably don't want to hear this, but I just read a story where a guy bought a new Tesla for $90,000 and drove it down to that place that buys used cars, resells them. They advertised it, they didn't know the name of it. They offered him $50,000 for it. He just bought a brand new an hour before that.
It seems like that the state would have a better control on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like that the Sheriff's Association needs to fight, I guess, with legislation, try to have that changed.
If you could get a deal like what some of Lee's equipment is, that'd be the way to go.
Right.
You know, like a state bid list, and they'd be available instead of.
Well, they did off the bid list.
But they don't have,
No, they don't have ready,
Label.
yeah, ready, yeah, no.
I mean, don't do you no good, that could be $10 if they ain't got.
Right,
it.
if they ain't got 'em, yeah. They just do it to order, you know. That's what that, I mean, how you gonna know in a year advance if you're gonna need one, you know?
You got so many of these counties that just order 2 or 3 every year.
Right.
That's just,
They just
On
order a
road.
fleet and
you know,
roll them over, yeah.
that's probably how you get these in Buster.
It is, they bought a fleet from, they got Grainsville PD, they bought like 6 or 8 of them, and they had anywhere from, like, high 20s to about 50,000 miles. They range from like a
Big
20.
areas like Birmingham, that where they're
Yeah.
not being driven out in the rural area.
Right, just a lot
Yeah.
of highway miles.
Did you call the DECA and see if they had anything?
Mm-hmm.
That's where we got the corners people in.
Now they come out the state.
Off the state.
Yeah.
Oh, did it? Don't the DECA have corners on?
They get it off the state billboards like that.
It's
That's
not,
where all the, I guess.
it's not a separate pot of vehicles.
Any action or anything you need today or anything?
That's
Commission.
just a resolution.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. All right, we have no bid openings, no awards or presentations. There is a scheduled public hearing to vacate portion of County Road 126. Is there anyone here? We do have a sign issue.
That is not an issue.
Who would like to speak concerning that? You need anybody to sign?
Yeah, whoever would.
Everybody, if you don't mind signing that. It doesn't mean you have to speak.
It's just attendance.
All right. Moving on to consent agenda. I don't have it. Do you have it?
It's right here.
Can everybody initial it?
There's,
Yes.
that might need to be amended, in fact, less than rain.
I've got the right.
Okay.
I've got the right.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna patrol vehicle and discretionary.
I'll make a motion to accept.
I second it.
Any discussion? All in favor saying aye. Motion carries. Moving down to new business, vacation of portion of County Road 126. You ready for that?
She's got the resolution on it. The only thing really that I need to adjust, I told you that it's Brown, but it's actually Jerry Brown, that's who the property is in, so it needs to be changed to Jerry.
So, we read this one here. You know,
That would be fine, just, it needs to be amended to Jerry instead of that.
I'll just let you read that. I mean, you read it. If you don't mind that way. You'll put in Jerry where it needs to be. So the resolution,
All right, so it reads, whereas the Cleburne County Commission intends to vacate a portion of the northern spur of County Road 126, approximately 470 foot from latitude 33.6164, longitude -85.4365 to the intersection of County Road 482, latitude 33.6176, longitude -85.4365. And whereas the Commission has held a public hearing regarding the intent during the regular scheduled meeting on April 15, 2024. And whereas the names of all the landowners or properties abut the road to be vacated are as follows: Jerry Brown. And therefore, the Commission hereby resolves to vacate a portion of County Road 126, approximately 470 foot long, those same latitudes and longitudes. Furthermore, the Commission tasked the engineer with conducting the publishing and filing of said vacation as required by law and updates the authority required to draw this issue to closing, including implementing whatever means necessary to vest or reinvest the abutting landowners with title to the vacated portions of the road.
I'll entertain a motion with that understanding that there was changing of Jerry from Lex to Jerry.
Make a motion.
I second it.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion?
Lee, you had no communication back from me regarding that to the phone.
I haven't heard anything about
No response.
All in, y'all ready to vote? All in favor saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. The next thing is, new business item B and C. Whereas the Cleburne County Commission advertised for applicants for the position of county administrator, whereas applications were received and the commission conducted an interview with qualified applicants on April the 1st, 2024, and whereas the commission wishes to offer the position to, now therefore be it resolved that the commission offers the position of county administrator to as pay grade 25 position with starting pay per hour with an effective date of April 15th, 2024. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Got a motion, we have a second. Any discussion?
I'll make a motion, I want to table it.
Yeah, that's just,
Okay. Got a motion to table, got a second to table. Any discussion? All in favor of tabling, say aye. Item C, whereas the Cleburne County Commission advertised for applicants for the position of county finance officer, whereas applications were received, and the commission conducted interviews with qualified applicants on April 1st, 2024, whereas the commission wishes to offer the position to, and therefore be resolved that the commission offers the position of the county finance officer to as a pay grade 23 position with starting pay per hour with an effective date of April 15th, 2024.
Make a motion to table.
Second,
second.
and then a motion to table,
Okay.
second to table. Any discussion? All in favor saying aye.
Aye.
Motion is tabled. Move this on down to county administrator. You have some updates for us?
I don't have a lot, just wanted to make sure everybody understood the deal with the sales tax that was remitted to the county. We received roughly double what we normally would receive in sales tax for the month of March. And of course, it's actually for the month of February, but collected in March. But, I immediately realized that we probably had a problem. It's not normal for us to have that much fluctuation in sales tax. So we reached out to Alabama Department of Revenue and wrote a report to see like where was a bigger minutes, and saw that we had one from one vendor, and we don't normally get payments from that vendor. So we reached out to Alabama Department of Revenue. They said they had noticed it as well. They were actually reaching out to the vendor to try to make sure that it was an accurate payment, that they did not do it in error. Well, they have not responded. The vendor has not responded, and it was quite a substantial amount. So I was really trying to get it cleared up before we made our payment to Board of Education for their half of it. So,
I would suggest us not making a payment to the Board of Education until we clarify that, because it's harder when you give somebody money, because we're gonna be responsible.
well, okay, and that was my concern, because like when we had a payment that was that had been paid to us before, and it was paid for Avenue, we had to actually write a check to that vendor and send it back because we were no longer using Avenue, and that's just the way they handle their refund process. But what the Alabama Department of Revenue has expressed us, and I do have it in an email, is that it will be a process now for them to actually put in and get a refund. And if they do that, they'll actually take it out of sales tax going forward. We will not have to write a check. And by doing that, they will be taking our half back and the Board of Education's back as well that way. And they said that they suggest that we do that because right now, our monthly report shows that we owe them that money. And so if we send that report and we only give them half of a portion of what we would normally send them, then they're gonna have some arguments there. And rightfully so, they would, because we've actually collected that money. That money's sitting in our bank account, so.
But how long is it? I mean, do you have a period of time that you can let it sit there?
Well, we actually have, and we've written the check out to the Board of Education because we do normally do it with our first AP, so it's in the batch of checks that we printed today. We are actually sending the check to the Board of Education because that's what the Alabama Department of Revenue suggested that we do, and I sent them a letter, which I emailed to all of you, explaining that there is a very real possibility that some of this will have to be refunded. I mean, it's not gonna be like, you're gonna have to write a check, it's gonna come out of future tax collections until they recoup that money. and that's what the situation is. And
So the check been sent?
So,
it has not been mailed yet, we've got it signed just this afternoon, but, that is the plan, and it's just because we do not want any kind of, we just got everything cleared up with the school board, we do not want any issues, and this is what the Alabama Department of Revenue suggested that we do.
If you're uncomfortable with this call, I mean, I would talk to county attorney before we, if you can, if Lisa can drag for a day or two.
I mean, certainly we can, and I can even call Melissa and say, look, you know, we're kind of a little easy on this right now.
That's what I would recommend, contact Board of Education, let them know what's going on.
Well, they're aware, you sent them an email.
I have not sent them an email yet, I'm just gonna send them a letterhead with their check,
Okay.
explaining that this is the situation, and, you know, we do not know, I mean, it's entirely possible, and I've already had the question asked, well, why would this particular vendor all of a sudden owe us this kind of money, they're not even in this county? Well, that doesn't mean that they are not selling something to someone in this county, it's the end tax. The end user pays the sales tax to that vendor, so, it's possible, but it seems very unlikely that we would collect it. I mean, $266,000 with the sales tax, that's like 2% sales tax.
It's not a piece of equipment that's been purchased by one of our big manufacturers.
It is entirely possible, that's what I'm saying, I'm not ruling it out, and maybe it's correct, and maybe we're all gonna come out good with this, but I just wanted them to be aware that, you know, all of a sudden, you've gotten twice as much this month, but it dwindles down to nothing the next, you know, and it may not even hit for a couple of months, it may take months for them to get it cleared up. So, worst case scenario, it starts falling into another fiscal year, but hopefully not in the next
If you're
few
just
months.
following what they recommend.
I am, and that's, I mean, we work back and forth, they have it.
If you want, y'all want to contact Jason, if you could just wait till the end of the week or at least, is everybody good with that?
It's gotta be a screw up because that would have to be a $14 million purchase.
And it would only have to be a piece of equipment that's been bought by one of the large manufacturers.
And that's possible, because I mean, that vendor does have a plant here, so, I mean, I'm not saying it didn't happen, I'm just saying, when you say something jumped that much, I mean, you could see if it went up $30,000, $40,000, you know, because it does fluctuate that much at times, but it literally more than doubled, so we don't know, yeah, that was a lot of sales tax. Well, we're glad to have it, but I'm just skeptical about it.
If you want to ask,
I still believe we need to kind of give it a few weeks anyway before we start pushing money over.
I don't know that she can that.
I'm not gonna wait that long, and the reason being is because already I'm trying to get it set up now with the bank and doing the EFTs to the Board of Education, because they're reporting, and this is part of what, when we met with them, we found out, is they're reporting, they have to report everything within 30 days to the state, so putting them further behind is gonna cause issues on their end for reporting purposes.
So if you're concerned,
It's just gonna, what the state's gonna do is just pull it off of any oncoming,
Yes.
Sales tax that's being owed to us.
And the rate, and what would happen is, you know, you can see how much you would have collected, how much of it was taken out for offset, and half of that would be the school board, half of it would be us. So it's gonna come
They
back
just
out
need
in
to
the wash.
understand that.
Yes, and I think that letter makes it pretty clear that that's what would happen, but I will definitely talk to them before that, if I find out that it's actually the case. But, in the meantime, they are trying to get an answer. You wouldn't think it would take that much to get an answer if somebody messed up that big, but,
somebody should know some company.
So I'm saying that much sales tax, not questioning it.
if you're doing it.
Unless it's, like I said, a piece of equipment that's been purchased, which would have to be one of your large manufacturing companies.
That's right. It is, but,
Anything else?
I have talked to Alex with Carmel today, and I actually reached out to him and tried to sit down with him, because we've had a number of questions about insurance here in the last few weeks, the sheriff's department vehicles, and then also, Lee reached out to me about some damage to a bridge, from what I understand from Alan, most of the time, bridges are basically treated kind of like buildings. If you actually wanted to have them scheduled like other properties, you could add bridges onto there. He said almost nobody does that because it's like tremendously expensive to try to list all of your bridges, or if you just wanted to, if you had certain ones that you felt like were more vulnerable for some reason, then you could certainly get those covered, but as it stands right now, we don't have bridges covered. So the damage from trees falling on your bridge or whatever is not covered at this time. And then, talked to the sheriff about his vehicles, and then I also just double checked, and I was 99% sure, but just while I was on the phone with Mr. Parnell, I made sure that, we are just covering property, commercial value of the vehicles and all of our properties, but not liability, because we actually have that covered with county risk services. Of course, you know, he confirmed that, but then also offered to give us a price on our liability. And I said, certainly, we'll, you know, glad to get any comparison on cost. So I'll probably meet up in the next week or so, just sit down and get that.
Have you done your cost difference between the ACC liability form and what else?
I have not on liability. Now, I reached out to, County Risk Services and tried to get them to give us an estimate on the property tax, on the commercial value or the replacement value and all those things, instead of just a conclusion on that. And we went back and forth with them, and never could get an answer out of them on that. They kept, they were like, well, we need this, and we need this, and we need this, and we'd send them more information. And I didn't really understand why we had to provide so much when they already know, our buildings have not changed since the last time they gave us a price on it. So
they changed their system, is what they did. They got legal,
but we really do need to find a price on both.
You need to find out before, if it's going to be cheaper for us to go through the ACCA or
It might be now. It might be now that more counties have joined. It may be that it's, with the volume of counties that they have, that they're covering now, it may be that it's cheaper. Like I said, get both of them to price it both ways and see what we got.
A lot of, what I'm hearing at the workman's comp, because they have a liability board, usually meets within that same week. A lot of the counties are going to it. So there's a reason they're going to it, the cost savings.
Exactly. That's the only reason why you ever change insurance, unless they're really super unhappy for some reason. You don't change insurance unless it's cheaper. So, that's something that we've been working on, and this is a good time of year to be working on it because our insurance changes at the end of the year, so we've got some months ahead, and we actually started months ahead of last year working on that. I had Emily send in, we have a notebook full of descriptions of county properties and everything that we sent to them, because they said they had to start from scratch and start a whole new deal, and all that's been sent to them, but we never did get a quote.
I'll check with them. I'll go down and have a meeting with them.
And there may be some follow-up that they need to do that, because I had kind of put them on finance part on a little bit, and I see where we need to go with that. But I did want you to know that I'm trying to, follow up with the insurance company to make sure that we'll get ahead of whatever the needs are.
Any other questions? Did you have anything? Did you get everything?
I'm good.
Any other questions? Lee? County attorney's not here. Old business? Any discussion items?
What are we gonna do about the jobs? I suggest that we let Lisa hire a finance officer and do restructuring or get her department.
If we're putting that finance job out there, I want at least 2 commissioners sit in on the interview and to have some input. Because of the situation before.
Did you rewrite that plan? Or the job description?
I have not rewritten it. There was one issue with the two job descriptions, and it's just that, it's the subordinate staff line is the same on both of those. Basically, it's the commission clerks both reporting either to the county finance officer and to the county administrator. And it does not need to be where they're reporting to two people, it needs to be the county administrator. So we can certainly fix that. It will take a resolution to fix it because it is a change in the job description. And then also there'll need to be a resolution adding it to the organizational chart for the administrative office. So those are a couple of things that have to be done, but they do not have to be done right now. You can go ahead and advertise for the position as far as you can put it back out there, advertise. And as far as having county administrators or county commissioners help with the interview process, I'm more than happy for that because look at it this way, yes, I think the department head should have final say so on who's selected to work in the department, but getting help assures the commissioners that the person that was chosen is qualified and the best qualified for the position, which I don't know why you would ever hire anybody that you didn't think was the most qualified, but that kind of takes out any question marks on that. So I'm more than happy for that to happen, so.
I mean, I think that once we put that back out there, then we need to look at it and restructure everything. First, you need to find a person for this financial, and then the whole department needs to be restructured.
So we need a resolution to allow her to do that, or can she just go ahead and do it without a resolution?
Well, I think if y'all are content, she says a lot of the stuff that we need to do, you probably want to come back during the work session to put it on. But you feel like you can go ahead and start advertising if y'all are comfortable with that.
Yeah, but please put the applications out
On Indeed, ACCA,
a lot more
newspaper,
than we did
everything.
the last time.
I agree.
I mean, you're keeping those applications in a little small ball, and we're not reaching out there to a lot of people. I think, Lee, you just seen a big difference in your applications, did you not?
In the number of them, there's a lot more.
Well, I'm
You
just
did get
saying,
numbers, you did get numbers.
I got numbers, it's better than zero.
it's better than that.
So I'm not sure that we need any resolution.
Do you want the newspaper, I mean, is that, when you think about paper,
The newspaper, would
just
just
Indeed?
Indeed, and the ACCA, which I write down, it needs to go out a lot more than it did the last time.
Everybody good with that?
Your resources.
All right. Anything else you want to discuss?
I do want to say something. Lee, I mean, come on. I mean, you could at least announce, even though I gave y'all an update on it, and Ryan's the only one that's congratulated on our grant process.
Not true.
Oh, you did. I'm sorry. It was you. I'm sorry.
Right, what they're trying to.
Yeah, we both said.
I appreciate your
I
dime
did.
too, Elaine.
Whenever.
I appreciate your dime. I still have it.
Good, good.
Those expensive cornflakes.
And I got something from Chad, but I didn't know officially either. I didn't know if Chad was gonna do that too.
They just sent me the little thing that I sent y'all.
Right.
I'm just waiting on Chad and maybe Randy to come.
Chad did let me know that you got it. I about the same time, it was about a few minutes or an hour difference between. But congratulations. That's good. It was worth the trip.
That we, as a county, was able to get that grant again, because it's so far between that they issue them for the small counties.
So it was worth the effort. Going through all that, y'all had to go through all those security. Y'all didn't storm like January 6th. Y'all didn't go in there storming, did you? But you got in, didn't you? So good job. Y'all want to go home?
Make a motion.
Do you have something else? Second? Yeah, second.
So,
That's right. All in favor?
Well,
Something you want, you do that later, we got to do that.
hey,
Yeah.
You got travel, don't you? I mean, just go ahead and do it, I'll pay you later, or we'll pay you later for it. Sorry.
What's your concern?
The sheriff's in
Did I miss that?
Yeah, I'm sorry, we're not adjourned.
Okay, well, consent.
It is on the consent agenda. We did cover that, Ms. Kyle.
It's on consent.
The rock and stuff like that.
Well, it ain't on mine,
It's
so
not on, it's not on mine.
it's not on the sign though, isn't it?
Yes.
For sure?
Okay.
Okay. I just know it's not on mine. So it is on the consent agenda.
It is on the consent agenda. About
It's not,
It's just not on your copy.
for the patrol car and the $500 discretionary.
Okay. So,
That's okay, no, you scared me, I thought maybe I missed
well,
something.
I
And I made mistakes. All right, we do, yes, sir.
What about, we got some checks in there for travel. Do we need to sit down and do some guidelines on travel? We got some big bills.
Why do we have we had a control on our travel, we've always had a control over it. Somebody's went. And we passed a resolution, several years ago, on travel expense.
We need to get it up.
Yeah, we did it when Steve was here. You remember that, Ryan, when we limited the traveling had to be approved by us.
I'm not talking about the travel, I'm talking about the cost of the travel.
There's limits on who
Well,
can
now-
travel and that kind
You're
of thing.
limited on it anyway.
I don't know, on certain things because of probate judge. I'm just saying, for my thing, if I'm a probate judge and we have a conference, then by law, I'm supposed to be able to go and the commission's supposed to pay for it. Same thing with the revenue commission. So, same thing with the sheriffs. So I don't know that we can, if it falls under that, there is a law that backs a lot of that traveling up. And as far as being part of that association too.
But are there not a limit on your daily expense? I thought there was a limit on your daily expense.
Can you get a condo? And you have the whole
We
thing.
not follow state guidelines.
I think there is but I think I don't know that we're not following state
We
guidelines.
don't pay for family, we only pay for individual. You have to be a county employee.
Well, now, the auditors will get you if you're, if you got a big room that wouldn't, you can get in trouble for that.
Yeah.
But I don't know that, and it depends too if you're in leadership. I would, if I were you, I would investigate with the ACCA and ask them, get some input from them because.
I mean,
Try that.
this is not, I guess I haven't signed any of those checks, or I haven't paid any attention.
I actually reached out to the ACCA about it one time. It was shortly after I got here, I guess, because I don't want to get in trouble for approving something that's, that I'm not supposed to, and I couldn't find any guidelines on it other than limiting, like, who I was allowed to make decisions, like department heads to make decisions on who could go on a trip. But, basically, they told me to follow our policy. That's what they came back with, was follow your policy. And we don't really have a policy per se. We just have, yes, these people can travel, but we don't have a limit on if they choose a higher cost room, say for Oceanside or for the size of the room that they're getting.
But my understanding that, and it's one, if I'm wrong here, but all of our rooms are pre-booked, and they're all booked in a group. If you go outside that group, anything outside that group is on at your own expense. Now, like last year when they failed to get our reservation, and they had to put us in a different hotel, but those end up being cheaper than what our rates were at the hotel.
Sometimes the overflow is, but sometimes it's not. It just depends. But there are overflow hotels almost every time that still do get a block rate. But what I'm running into is people want to stay in the overflow instead of the host hotel, even if it costs more. And then people also want to have like the whole suite instead of just having. But I've been told that it's an elected official that looking.
It's still county's
I
fund.
understand. It's been a thing with.
The reason I brought it up is, do we need guidelines? That's right.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. You're talking taxpayers' money. If you're elected, you should be considering of the taxpayers' money.
I understand.
That to me is,
Well, what we're getting into is and all of you have been in different leadership, and you have more travel when you're in a leadership position. And that may be if you're in leadership, sometimes they'll meet a day or two ahead before the conference. So we don't have a policy on that, so you might want to look at that.
But sometimes your leadership, your folks that are in a leadership position, the day before the conference starts for everyone else, they get there a day early, have meetings, and then go into, so then it certainly does make sense, they would get an extra day to
I was
stay.
in leadership, but I still stayed in that block area.
It's got to be some guidelines somewhere,
Yeah.
because she pays per diem, and the room cost, and it's got to be in writing somewhere. I
Well-
think it's state.
Per diem is done through reimbursed expenses, and we do have a policy for that. But the hotel, like who is limited, which are limited to stay in.
Well, maybe you need
It's
to,
not.
I guess we should ask you to call the ACCA and set something up where you're not going outside that scope of those block areas. If they choose not to stay and they go outside those block rooms, then that's at their own expense. And you're not,
Well, ACCA told her that
It's about.
that was our policy, not their policy.
yeah.
So, is it something we need to think about then in next month's work session?
In
come
the
up
work
with
session,
something?
we need to try and come up with something.
When you don't have policy, you don't have anything to protect you. If you stick to your policy, and that's what your policy is, and your examiners come in and say, well, you allowed this person to book a higher priced unit because they chose, to have a larger room or whatnot. Well, they paid the difference. They paid the difference between the block, and then you can justify that. You just can't justify just doing it.
Part of it is when you set your budget, you know what you're planning on going the upcoming year.
But
Right.
And that's what, and I've done that in the
He's
past.
done it.
So the block room to Perdido is like 189, but I am gonna take a family, so I use that 189, then I
I think
pay,
Ron said it.
then I pay the balance.
Well, actually, the rooms across were cheaper than, they were cheaper than the rooms at Perdido Beach,
But that's-
which blew my mind.
Yeah, but once you step outside of that block.
Well, that's what I'm saying, if that block is paying anything over that 189, should be at your own expense.
If that's what everybody wants, then we need a roof.
Unless that block,
He just said, but I can't imagine people going outside that.
well, we run into one time a couple of years ago that the block rooms all filled up, and we got forced over to some different ones. And at that point, I think we wouldn't budget different, but you can't get reservations in the block.
Then it makes sense for you to pay more. You may have to pay more if you can't get it, because some of
Do you have a motion on the table to adjourn? We have a second.
Yes.
All in favor, say aye.
Uh,
Motion carries.
I'm sure.
If y'all want to discuss that, work that out.
Supposed to be working